All right, quick tutorial on Hound Dog. I just want to go over a few important points that could help you with this song. First of all, we'll cover the road map because there's the weird coda thing in here, so it's not an obvious repeat thing like usual. So we'll make sure you understand that, and then we'll talk about how to play some of this stuff, and we'll look into the solo, some stuff with the solo that might help you with doing your own solo, and maybe a couple other things. So real quickly, have a look at your Hound Dog sheets. There's two of them. The sign at the top, and then the coda sign at the very beginning of the very last line, staff line at the very bottom. The key here is at the second line, second last line, it says DSL coda. When you get to that, jump right to the top because that's where the sign is, and then play till you see 8 bars later, the end of that second line. You'll see it says to coda. So you jump to the coda sign, which is that sign on the very last line. And then you just play that to the end, and that's it. That's the roadmap. If we look at this song, it's pretty repetitive and pretty basic, right? That's pretty much it. So 3-4 notes. The key here is to keep the articulation, your tonguing and the way you phrase stuff. Keep it interesting. And I do those glissandos, those roll-offs, instead of ending the note just by itself. Sounds a little more square. So if you can practice those glissandos, those fall-offs, do have a lesson on the fall-offs, on the embellishment stuff on the website, so you could focus in on a bit of that if you're interested on that embellishment thing. But beyond that, use your tongue. Notice how I'm stopping the notes with my tongue. If you don't stop the notes with your tongue, it actually sounds, it'll allow the note to go ugly on you, flat, out of tune. Hear the difference? If you ever watched some lesson videos on instructors, trying to teach you how to sound better, how to sound more professional, that kind of thing, that's the key right there. That's one of the keys. Stopping your notes with your tongue. When you don't, they go flat and out of tune. Hear the difference? When I say stop the note with your tongue, it's like I do have a tonguing video. This is I won't get into it too much here, but this is the reed vibrating. Da. The very tip of your tongue goes on the reed to stop it. See, if I don't stop it, it goes and there's no and it just dies because it'll eventually have less and less air, and then it'll die. But as it dies with no tongue to stop it, it'll just die out into nothingness, and it'll fall off, and it'll go flat on you because there's no tongue to stop it when it's fully in tune, and that's the key. You're stopping it with your tongue before it has a chance to fade out with lack of air, and that's when it gets out of tune and ugly. So I hope that makes sense, and that'll help you sound better. Let's go to the solo. The solo, I'll just talk about that. The guitar solo. I just played I recorded the 3 saxophone section doing the harmony, the chordal notes, and I played the root note on top on my version. So I'm playing as part of the section there, and I'm just playing the high tonic note there, right? And I wrote it out. Then I play up the octave. I actually played it up the octave. It blends in pretty good with the saxophone section. So just when you're playing that, just play it a little quieter and try and blend into the saxophone section while the guitar solo is happening, right? You don't want to blow a loud goose egg note over the guitar solo. You just have to be part of the section, be part of the band there. Okay, then right to the sax solo now. You should copy the solo. It's good practice and good exercise. But as you work on this song for yourself, try doing your own solo. And you can get away with it just by easily playing the pentatonic scale. Again, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. The 3 could be minor, which works really well in blues rock and roll song. What else? The only other notes, I didn't use the 2 at all, so there you go, it's even less notes. But I did add some passing notes on that of the sax solo. 8-9 bar, I went F sharp, G, G sharp, A. I just went chromatically. So basically you have two passing notes, the G and the G sharp to the A. That's fine. If you were to land on a G sharp and hold it for a couple of beats, it would be very sour. It does not work because it's not part of that 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 pentatonic scale. But as a passing note, totally doable, as you can see there and here. Also, regarding improvising there, you could use the full scale, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. And now we're calling it a dominant 7 scale, and that works. It's just a couple extra more notes than the pentatonic scale, right? The dominant 7 scale chord is very popular one to use, and the one we used for the tequila solo. There's a whole lesson series on the dominant 7 scale and how it works with the tequila solo and other stuff, obviously, like this. Anytime you can use a pentatonic scale, you can use a dominant 7 scale. It gives you a couple extra notes. But if you're new to improvising, start with the pentatonic scale, which is only 5 notes, right? And this is a great song to practice that in. Okay, I'll say one more thing before we end here, and that's at the very last line. You ain't never caught a rabbit. You ain't no friend of mine. That very last thing, I jumped up the octave. So just to make it more exciting. And one thing I like to say about that is that, and then also went up way up to the octave, and then went two and a half octaves down, and ended on those last 2 notes. Ba-da, really low. So you go really extremely high and then really, really to the low end. And one thing that'll help you here is when you're going high, take a lot of air, be forceful. You're going to have more luck playing in tune and clear with a lot of air support from your diaphragm, which goes the same for those low notes. But you need more air. You'll notice playing in the middle ranges. I have to work harder playing the low notes and the high notes, top end of the horn. I have to work harder with my air support to make those notes sound full and in tune.